Hey everyone, it's Brandon. I was just thinking about this film that I watched last night. It's a Chinese film called Dancing Elephant. I think that's the correct name. I keep wanting to call it Elephant Dancing or the Dancing Elephant, but I think it's just translates to Dancing Elephant. And it was just released here in China a couple of days ago. I had the opportunity to go see a premiere, but I had no time to get over there. And so I watched it instead last night. And I just wanted to give you my 2 cents about the movie. I will say overall, I think it was not bad. I can't say that it was a great movie. It's not often that I say a movie is great anyway, but this film was good. I think it's definitely worth seeing, but there are some problems with it, and there are also some things that are good, and I just wanted to kind of go over those right quick. Now, I've told you before that my Chinese is so-so. I do speak a little bit, but this film also had English subtitles, and overall the subtitles were pretty good. So that's good. I don't complain if I'm in China, and if I go to a theater to watch a Chinese movie, I don't expect there to be English subtitles, so it's okay. It's not a big deal. But when there are English subtitles added, it's a nice thing. It's a nice touch, and I appreciate that. So thumbs up on that to the filmmakers. But as far as the story itself, it's you can watch the preview, and it pretty much gives you the main story. So there are no plot surprises or story surprises. You do learn a little bit about some of the characters as the movie goes along and progresses, but there are no twists and turns or anything like that. I will say this, that in a lot of Chinese films, and I'm not going to give you any examples. I think if you've watched several Chinese films, you will just know that in many Chinese films, it seems like they don't know which genre they want to be. Is it a comedy? Is it a drama? Is it a tragedy? Don't know. They'll mix these things together, and it can be very disconcerting for me. I don't like to be toyed around so much like that. I mean, I don't want to see a scene where somebody's doing something absolutely ridiculous and laughable, and even like a parody, almost something that's making fun of something. It's just ridiculous, and then the next scene somebody dies and it's very tragic and they're crying and I'm supposed to be upset. It's very strange, and so I prefer for it to stick to a certain genre. This film does a little bit of that, and so I don't like that, but it's not quite as bad as some other films that I've seen in the genre switching thing. So it's tolerable. And there are some other things that it does that I felt were unnecessary, because I know that it's not a big budget film, but I still felt like they made some choices that don't make any sense. Like, for example, the elephant in the film, the baby elephant, the older elephant, they're using these CG computer graphics special effects elephants, and I don't understand why they didn't just use real elephants. Is it really that expensive to just show the elephant, a real elephant, in these scenes? I mean, I understand they wanted the baby elephant dancing around and to show it doing certain things, and it's hard to get a baby elephant, I would imagine, to do these types of things, especially since they're so specific and detailed. But I feel like they could have done a better job on that, because at some points it really pulls me out of the film, because it is so I don't want to say bad, because it is bad, but it is still better than a lot of the crappy CG that I've seen in some other Chinese films. For example, Monkey King 3D. That film has just absolutely terrible special effects. But anyway, a couple of the other problems were just, first of all, the CG, unnecessary. Put in a real elephant. Just spend the extra money and put in some real elephants. The second thing that I had problem with is unbelievable situations. So, for example, there's a scene where there are children picking on the girl because she's fat, and they compare her to an elephant, and and they throw food on her and things like that. This is just stupid, because I understand why they're doing it, but it's stupid because it's not realistic. People don't do that in real life. The 4 or 5 children throwing their ice creams and drinks or whatever at a girl because she's fat is stupid, because that doesn't happen. It doesn't happen in real life. And there are several moments like that where they just have these things happen in the story that are literally completely unbelievable. And it's, I understand once again why they did it, but it still doesn't make it acceptable to me. I felt like they could have done it in a different way so that it was more acceptable and more lifelike and realistic, rather than making it unrealistic and highly improbable at best. And there are several moments like this in the movie. So this is my main problem with the film, is that and of course the CG elephant. But like I said, there are several scenes like this, several moments that are just completely unbelievable and improbable at best, and they could have made the movie a little more dramatic and better by focusing on making those more acceptable and realistic. Now, what did I like about the movie besides the English subtitles that were added? I felt like, there are no just absolute amazing performances from the other actresses. I think that the main actress was good, but I think the main thing that I really liked about this film was the heart of the story and the sub story of her teacher, the dance teacher, the soul dancer, they called him, and with his life and him wanting to be a dancer and him apparently being gay, and his father not accepting him ever. This is something you don't normally see in Chinese cinema. They definitely don't allow anything to show gay stuff on the screen, and I'm not saying that I'm trying to get or all for more gay stuff going into the cinema. My point is that I'm not for it or against it. I don't like it rammed down my throat. I don't like people to force on me. It should be everywhere, because it shouldn't be. Most people are not gay, so we don't need a ton of gay movies. But when it comes to the subject matter, which the guy was clearly interested in another guy, but he was especially interested in dancing, and his dad did not accept that, and his dad was always against him. But he still went against his dad and was a dancer. And this is something that most people in China don't accept, and it's because he's your father. You have to listen to him. A lot of people have this idea that you have to listen to your parents, and there's especially not just parental fealty in China, as I've mentioned, like in the Wandering Earth film, and there was another film that I watched recently as well that also had the same concept in it of the father once again being the role model, and you looking up to him and having to follow him and that sort of thing. And I have a daughter, and so those things matter to me. But in China, it goes beyond that and into the realms sometimes of you must listen to your parents no matter what, because they're your parents. So even if they treat you badly, you must follow them or listen to them. And obviously not all people in China believe that, but a large majority do. And so when I see that in films and they're propping up that idea in films, it annoys the crap out of me. So it was nice to see in this film that they didn't do that. But they did mention one time when the guy was talking to his mother, even though his father was against him his whole life and violently against him, his mother told him, he still sits out the food for you, and waits for you to come eat, and he doesn't eat until you come to eat. And so it's very subtle, but it's kind of like she's saying, but he still loves you. But I can't accept this as love, because that's what people say, and it's connected even to me. It resonates with me because, like in my own family, My dad has never accepted the things that I do, or the kind of person that I want to be, or where I want to live, the kind of work that I want to do. He doesn't accept any of those things. He never has my entire life. Even though I'm a grown man and he's much older now, he still can't accept those things. And so seeing this topic in the movie was something that connected with me. And then hearing the character's mom say, but he still loves you, basically. He still loves you. This is stupid, but it's exactly like the kind of thing that I would hear in life as well, because it's like, but he's your father, he loves you, he still loves you. But to me, when you love somebody, you show it by the things that you do, and if you are against them and you don't support them, then where is the real love? There might be affection there, but that's not love. And so that's why, as a father myself, I've always tried to encourage my daughter and figure out what it is that she wants to do, and then support her in that. Even though she isn't always clear about what she wants to do, but she's still young, so hopefully, she can figure that out. But anyway, the film itself, overall, I feel like it also had a lot of symbolism. I had the ratings in China are not high. Last time I checked, it was like a 7.5 out of 10, and that's pretty low for a Chinese film, or a Chinese rating in China for a film. I think that it's not going to do very well. It's not going to make as much. Normally, films have to be at least over 8 in order to make better money in China. But I think for me personally, that's a fair rating, because it just has a couple of problems that it's not worth a higher rating. But I did have a conversation with one of my friends here locally, and she really, really is against the film, and we tried to have a discussion. I mean, she actually asked me about what I thought, why I was being forgiving about the film. I guess she just wanted me to just hate the film, but I can't hate on the film. It's not fair to throw the whole film out just because of one thing that you didn't like, one or two things you didn't like. There's always something in a film to glean, right? And even a film that you think is absolutely terrible still has things to learn. Isn't that right? Donatello? Huh? Yeah, I know you're probably thinking that he's Raphael because he's got the red bandana, but he's got the D on here. But if you're an old school Turtles fan like I am, you know that in the comic books, sometimes all of the turtles wore red. Did you know that? Well, now you do. Anyway, back to the point. My friend really didn't like the fact that they had this elephant in there. She wanted, I guess, a more attractive animal or something that wasn't ridiculous. She felt like it was ridiculous, and she could only see the comparison between the elephant being big and the girl being big, and she felt like that was offensive. And I don't understand what's triggering that anger towards the film about that aspect, but I look a lot deeper than that. I see the symbolism in it, and how they compare what the elephant was going through, and how it remembered things, and how it was carrying her shoes around, and how it got sick and ill, and it went from being small to being big. And I saw the comparisons, the parallels they were making between the elephant and the girl, and I felt like these were fair comparisons, and I appreciate the symbolism there. So I liked the inclusion of the elephant, and no other animal would have worked in my mind. So I think that, as far as I can tell, it was picked for obvious reasons. But anyway, should you watch it? Well, yeah, I think if you like Chinese films and you appreciate a film with a more realistic story instead of a story that's telling you have to listen to your parents, then yeah, you can enjoy it. There are some tender moments that are a little moving. If you ever had these types of moments in your life, or if there was something you wanted to do in your life and your parents were against it, or your family was against it, and you really wanted to do it, then I'm sure this film will connect with you also. If there's something you really want to do, but it's hard for you to do because you have other obligations, or maybe there's a physical impairment that's holding you back, then the film could also touch you and reach you. But if you have a very high standard for the films that you like to watch, then maybe not. But that's up to you. I will definitely rate it maybe about a 7.5, or maybe 7.25. It's okay. It's not bad. I mean, some people might think that rating is a little high for this movie, but like I said, I appreciate the symbolism in it and the deeper meaning. I think the film does have heart, even though it has a lot of stuff in it that's unbelievable and unrealistic. It's okay. I can overlook that and look at the heart of the film, and that's why I like the film. Is if it didn't have that heart, then I would have been very annoyed at having spent money to watch it. But anyway, that's all I have, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye. Say bye bye, Donatello. Bye bye.